God says, listen closely, my beloved soul. And allow yourself to be fully present in this moment, because what is reaching you now is not meant to rush you or overwhelm you, but to gently steady your heart and remind you that something you have been waiting for has quietly moved into alignment. You did not open this by chance. You arrived here because your spirit was ready to hear reassurance instead of silence, clarity instead of confusion, and hope instead of exhaustion. There are times in life when nothing seems to change on the surface, yet everything is shifting beneath it. You may have felt that stillness, the strange pause where effort no longer works the way it used to, where pushing harder brings no relief, and where waiting feels heavier than acting. That pause is not denial. It is preparation. It is the space where outcomes are settled before they appear. This message meets you in that space, not to announce pressure, but to confirm progress. Archangel Michael is often associated with strength that protects without force and clarity that guides without noise. When his presence is spoken of here, it represents steadiness arriving after uncertainty. It represents the moment when something unresolved begins to settle, not because you demanded it, but because the timing became right. Timing matters more than effort when it comes to what truly belongs in your life. You may have wondered if your patience was being overlooked, if the quiet work you did internally was unnoticed. It was not. Growth often happens invisibly first. Emotional endurance, faith through uncertainty, and the ability to remain grounded when answers were delayed all contributed to where you are now. Those qualities do not disappear. They become the foundation for what comes next. There is a reason this message asks you to stay for a few minutes. Not because something will vanish if you leave, but because stillness allows recognition. Recognition allows trust. Trust allows you to receive without anxiety. When you stop bracing for disappointment, good news feels safer to arrive. You might feel a subtle easing in your chest as you continue reading. That easing is important. It means you are no longer pushing against the moment. You are allowing it. Allowing does not mean giving up control. It means releasing resistance. Resistance blocks clarity. Openness invites it. Think about the area of your life where you have been waiting the longest. Where effort felt unseen. Where progress seemed delayed without explanation. That waiting was not wasted. It refined your expectations and aligned you with what you are actually ready to hold. Sometimes what feels like delay is protection, ensuring that when something arrives, it stays. This message is not here to promise something unrealistic or distant. It is here to ground you in the understanding that movement has already begun. When movement begins internally, external confirmation often follows naturally. You do not need to chase it. You need to be ready to receive it calmly. As you stay with these words, let go of the urge to predict outcomes. Prediction creates tension. Presence creates readiness. Readiness allows good news to land without fear. You are being prepared to receive without disbelief, to accept without questioning your worthiness. Nothing here asks you to prove faith or wait in anxiety. It simply invites you to stay open for the rest of today, to move gently, and to trust that clarity often arrives quietly, through a message, a conversation, or a realization that feels unexpectedly relieving. Remain with this calm expectation. Let it replace doubt with steadiness. What has been pending is no longer stuck. It is aligning with you now, and alignment always feels quieter than struggle. As this message continues, let it slow your inner pace rather than quicken it, because what is unfolding now is meant to be received with steadiness. When something long awaited begins to align, it rarely arrives with noise. It arrives with a sense of quiet confirmation, a feeling that something has shifted without needing proof yet. That feeling is not imagination. It is recognition. Recognition is how readiness announces itself. You may have noticed that lately your questions changed. You stopped asking when as often, and started asking how to stay grounded while I wait. That change matters. It shows that patience matured into trust, not because everything became clear, but because you learned to remain present even without certainty. Presence is powerful. Presence is what allows good news to settle instead of startling you. There is a subtle preparation that happens before anything meaningful enters your life. Expectations soften. The need to control loosens. You begin to sense that forcing outcomes only creates exhaustion, while allowing timing creates relief. This is not passivity. It is alignment. Alignment removes friction so what is meant for you does not have to fight its way in. Think about the area where you have felt paused. That pause was not emptiness. It was adjustment. Adjustments happen when life rearranges pieces so that what arrives fits without strain. When something fits, it stays. When it arrives too early, it creates pressure. You are being prepared to receive without pressure. As you continue reading, notice how your breathing naturally slows. That slowing is important. It signals that your nervous system is no longer bracing for disappointment. When you stop bracing, you become receptive. Receptivity is not weakness. It is confidence that you can handle what comes next without fear. You may also realize that you are no longer seeking reassurance from many directions. That is a sign of inner stability. Inner stability does not mean you have all the answers. It means you trust yourself to respond wisely when answers arrive. That trust was built through waiting, reflecting, and choosing calm even when impatience tempted you. This message does not need to announce timelines or conditions. What matters is that movement has already begun at a level you do not need to manage. When movement begins beyond effort, it tends to reveal itself through clarity rather than urgency. Clarity feels like relief. Urgency feels like pressure. What is aligning now feels relieving, not demanding. You might sense a readiness to receive good news without questioning whether it is real. That readiness is new. Before, you may have guarded yourself against hope to avoid disappointment. Now, hope feels safer. Safety around hope is a sign of growth. Growth allows you to welcome without fear. Stay aware of how gently this message sits with you. Gentleness is not accidental. It is how support communicates when it respects your pace. Nothing here asks you to hurry or prove belief. It invites you to remain open for the rest of today, to notice what feels supportive rather than stressful, and to trust that clarity often arrives in simple, unexpected ways. As this understanding settles, allow yourself to move through the next hours with ease. When something is approved at the right level, it does not require your anxiety to activate it. It requires your calm to receive it. Calm creates space. Space allows news to land softly, without resistance. Remain present. Let the steadiness you feel now guide how you respond to what comes next. What has been pending is no longer held back. It is aligning with you, and alignment always meets you where you are, ready, grounded, and able to receive. As this message deepens, it shifts from reassurance into understanding, because understanding is what allows peace to stay even when circumstances are still unfolding. You may notice that your mind is quieter now than it was earlier. That quiet is not emptiness. It is clarity forming. Clarity does not rush you toward conclusions, it steadies you so that when information arrives, you can receive it without doubt or shock. Waiting changes a person. It refines attention. It teaches discernment. It shows you which desires come from fear and which come from alignment. You have been learning this without realizing it. The moments when you chose patience over reaction, when you stepped back instead of forcing answers, those moments trained your inner balance. Balance is essential when something meaningful is about to move forward, because imbalance turns blessings into stress. Archangel Michael is often associated with calm authority and inner steadiness. In this stage of the message, his presence symbolizes confidence without pressure. Confidence does not need constant reassurance. It rests in the knowledge that what belongs will arrive at the right time and in the right way. This is the quality being strengthened within you now. You may notice that your focus is beginning to shift from anticipation to readiness. Anticipation watches the clock. Readiness prepares the heart. Readiness feels grounded, not restless. It allows you to continue your day without distraction, knowing that clarity will meet you when it is meant to. This is not passive waiting. It is active trust. There is also an important realization forming: not everything needs explanation before it can be accepted. Some confirmations arrive as a sense of peace rather than a list of details. Peace is often the first signal that alignment is real. Details follow when the foundation is stable enough to hold them. You might recognize that you no longer feel the urge to convince yourself that good things are possible. That urge fades when belief becomes natural. Natural belief does not argue. It simply allows. Allowing reduces resistance. Reduced resistance makes space for movement. Consider how different this feels from earlier times when you hoped but also doubted. Hope mixed with doubt creates tension. Hope grounded in steadiness creates calm expectation. Calm expectation is resilient. It does not collapse if things take a little time. It remains intact because it is supported by inner trust rather than external proof. As you move through this part of the message, let go of the habit of checking for signs constantly. Constant checking keeps the mind busy. A settled mind recognizes clarity when it appears. Recognition does not need repetition. It feels obvious when it arrives. There is also a quiet invitation here to remain gentle with yourself. Gentleness keeps your energy clear. Harshness, even toward yourself, creates noise. Noise blocks perception. When perception is clear, opportunities reveal themselves naturally, often through simple interactions or realizations that feel unexpectedly relieving. You may find that your reactions to everyday situations are calmer now. That calm is not accidental. It is the result of alignment forming internally. Internal alignment always precedes external confirmation. When you notice this calm, trust it. It means you are positioned to receive information without panic or disbelief. This stage of the message is not about instruction. It is about stabilization. Stabilization ensures that when clarity arrives, it integrates smoothly into your life instead of disrupting it. Integration allows progress to feel natural rather than overwhelming. Stay present with this steadiness. Let it guide how you move, how you speak, and how you respond today. When something meaningful is aligning, your role is not to chase it, but to remain ready for it. Readiness is calm. Calm is strength. And strength is already settling within you now. As this message reaches its final depth, what matters now is not anticipation but integration, because the greatest shifts do not arrive loudly, they settle quietly and begin to change how you stand, breathe, and move through your day. You may notice that your thoughts feel less scattered now. That calm is not accidental. Calm is what appears when something unresolved starts to resolve internally, even before the outer world reflects it. There comes a moment when waiting stops feeling heavy and starts feeling purposeful. That moment has nothing to do with knowing exact outcomes and everything to do with readiness. Readiness is not excitement or urgency. Readiness is steadiness. It is the feeling that whatever comes next, you will be able to receive it without disbelief, without fear, and without needing to question your worthiness. Archangel Michael is often associated with protection that brings clarity rather than force. In this stage of the message, his presence represents inner assurance, the quiet confidence that forms when you stop pushing and start trusting the alignment that has already begun. Assurance does not announce itself. It simply rests within you, changing how you respond to life. You may realize now that the delay you experienced refined your expectations. It softened what needed softening and strengthened what needed strength. You are not the same person who first began waiting. You are steadier, more aware, and less willing to accept what drains you. That change ensures that when something meaningful arrives, it fits without chaos. There is also an important understanding settling in. Good news does not always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it enters through relief. Relief is the feeling of not having to brace yourself anymore. When you stop bracing, you become receptive. Receptivity allows clarity to land gently instead of disrupting your balance. You might feel less compelled to seek confirmation from many places. That is because inner confirmation has begun. Inner confirmation feels like knowing without needing proof yet. It feels like trusting yourself to recognize truth when it appears. This trust was built quietly through patience, reflection, and choosing calm when impatience tempted you. As this message completes, allow yourself to stay grounded rather than excited. Groundedness keeps you present. Presence keeps your perception clear. Clear perception allows you to recognize opportunity, communication, or news when it arrives, without missing it or overthinking it. There is no rush attached to what is aligning. What is meant for you does not require anxiety to activate it. It meets you where you are, prepared and steady. When alignment is real, it does not depend on constant attention. It unfolds naturally alongside your daily life. Carry this steadiness with you through the rest of today. Let it guide how you speak, how you respond, and how you interpret what comes next. When something is approved at the right level, it integrates smoothly. It does not shock your system. It supports it. You are not being asked to wait nervously. You are being invited to remain calm and open. Calm openness is the position from which good news is received clearly and without doubt. Trust that the shift you feel now is real. It is not the end of waiting, it is the beginning of alignment becoming visible. If you're still here, this moment was meant just for you. Type Amen in the comments, press like to align with what's unfolding, and subscribe now so you stay connected to what's next for your life. Then share this with one person who's also been waiting quietly. Because the right message always finds the right heart.